The gracefulness of death. Become me. I was born in my mother's womb, but she did not create me. I ate the salt of this earth, but I do not belong to her. It is through this body that I walk, but I am not it. It is my mind through which I work, but it could not contain me. In the limitations of time and space I live, but it has not denied me unboundedness. I was born like you, I eat like you, sleep like you, and I will die like you. But the limited has not limited me. Life's bondages have not bound me. As the dance of life progresses, this space, this unboundedness has become unbearably sweet. Become love and reach out. Become me. Preparing for a good death. Does death need preparation? If death is inevitable, what is the need to spend time and energies preparing for it? You must understand that what you refer to as death is a unique happening. It is the very last moment of your life. Almost everything else in your life may happen many times over, but the final moment when you transcend the limitations of your physical body will happen only once in your lifetime. It is the last thing that you will do in your life. Moving from the physical to the non physical is the greatest moment in your life. So, is it not very important that you make it happen most gracefully and wonderfully? Moreover, let us say you want to go to Coimbatore city from the yoga center. It is just 30 kilometers away. So, typically, you just hop onto some bus and go. You don't book a seat on the bus 10 days in advance. Take a huge suitcase, pack your lunch and water bottle and all that. If there is no transport available, you may even walk the distance. But if you want to go on a long journey, you book your tickets, take food, water, and whatever else you may need for this long journey. Now, if you want to go to Antarctica, you take just about everything with you, isn't it? You should know, when compared to the journey after death, the journey from your birth to death is just a short one. The time a being spends in an embodied state is nothing compared to the time one spends being in a disembodied state. Yet, you have done too much preparation for this. You have bought enough clothes to wear for 3 lifetimes, footwear for 8 lifetimes, and a whole lot of other things. But for the journey after death, which is a very long one, should you not make adequate preparations too? Why dying well is very important is because when a being is disembodied, whether one's experience becomes heavenly or hellish largely depends on how one dies. Not entirely, but largely so. Preparing for death is not about gathering a lot of information and satisfying one's curiosity about something to come. If you want to make use of the opportunity that death presents, you cannot approach it with fear. This is not something that you can handle all of a sudden at that moment. So, it is important that on many levels we prepare for death beforehand. If you can manage this last conscious moment of your life gracefully, you will at least go through the disembodied phase well. You will not make it hellish. Unfortunately, most people create fear at that moment. They just cling on saying, I don't want to die. Some people actually desperately cling on to a bed sheet or someone's hand or something. This is not a good way to go. With just a little bit of preparation, guidance, and even a bit of help, which is now considered a catastrophe, can become a huge opportunity for spiritual possibility. In a way, from a spiritual perspective, what did not perhaps happen in life can be accomplished at the moment of death if it is handled sensibly. This is because it is very easy to untie the knots of everything that you have accumulated at that final moment. But if you are unprepared or become fearful of it or are ignorant of the ways of life, you will create resistance towards it and miss that possibility completely. Everyone should know how to die by themselves. I have been telling people that when I die, I will make sure that no one has to even carry me to my grave. I will walk to my grave. You know, they had built a samadhi for me at the yoga center many years ago. It is still there at the yoga center. We had always planned to leave at a certain time. Once the Dhanalinga was done, so we prepared this. We had many discussions about it, like don't put too many steps because maybe at that time I will not be able to climb down too much, and so on. We worked out details of how the door, the bolt, the locking mechanisms should be for me to lock it from inside. One final time we did this because I was planning to walk into my grave myself so that those four people would be spared some labor. But the samadhi structure did not get used and money got wasted. That is another matter though. So everyone must make preparations for their death, not just externally, internally too. You must be able to sit quietly and die. When death is imminent, most wild animals will withdraw to a place where they just sit. They don't eat anything and they die. When even animals, creatures that crawl, have that much dignity about their death, why do human beings want drama around them? In life, they want drama, but at least death should be conducted in a dignified way. Ideally, I would like to teach the whole population a way where they can live beautifully, blissfully every moment of their life. Then naturally, one will live in the best possible manner. But as I am getting older, I am realizing that it is taking a lot of time and effort. So, if that is not possible, I would like to at least teach them how to die well so that they can manage at least the last moment of their lives sensibly. It is my wish that for some reason, if people cannot live blissfully, they must at least die well. But much more is possible if one makes an effort in this direction. This possibility is available not only for accomplished yogis but also for any sensible person who is willing to take instructions that are beyond one's understanding. People on the spiritual path often go one step further and choose the time, date, and place of their death. They are able to fix it beforehand and leave at that time because they have created the necessary awareness within themselves so that when the time comes, they can bundle the life energies and leave the body consciously. To leave this body consciously and walk away without damaging it, just like taking off your clothes, is the ultimate possibility in your life. If your awareness has grown to such a point that you know where you as a being and this physical body which you gathered are connected, then you can disentangle yourself whenever the moment is right for you. This is the ultimate kind of preparation you can make for your death. When we talk about making preparations for death, people ask, what if the death is sudden? How can such a person die well? Death is never sudden. You may not have foreseen it, but it is never sudden. Today's movies are big culprits in spreading this fallacy of instantaneous death. They think of life as a quantity which is sitting inside that goes pop. when someone is shot. It is not like that. Look at it this way. Suppose I shoot you in the head right now. Will all your breath go off at once? No, it will happen slowly. Once the compression of the ribcage is gone here, it will slowly dribble out. Similarly, life dribbles out over some time, but the moment the body turns inert, your experience of life is gone. Your experience of the body and your senses is gone, but the experience itself is still there. This is so even when you are sleeping. There is an experience here, but you are unable to turn inward and access this experience. Once your senses are disconnected, you have no experience of the world or the body, but the experience of the presence is still there. Now, suppose a man was shot in the head. Does he also have the opportunity to die peacefully? Let us say a man fell down from the roof and died. From your perspective, because you see the body breaking up, you may think this is a violent death, but for the man who has fallen down, he may have died a very peaceful death within himself in those last few moments, or he may have died a violent death. The violence is not in the way the body breaks. The violence is in the way that human being experiences it in that moment. As an outside observer, you are judging the violence by what happened to the body, but you cannot know what happened to the being. Only he knows, unless you know the ways to know it. Someone may die surrounded by his or her family, but at the last moment, they may have just looked at their fiendish relative. You may think they died peacefully in their bed, but no. They might have become terrified and died a violent death. Someone might have died in a car crash where their body broke into bits, but at the last moment, they might have just said Shiva or something other thing and died peacefully. We don't know. The violence of the death is not determined by what happened to the body. It depends on what happened within that person. A man who is shot in the head is in no way in any kind of disadvantage compared to a person who is dying of some disease or old age or whatever. You need to understand this. However sudden the death is, whether it is a heart attack, car crash, air crash, or a bullet in the head, still there are a few moments between injury and death. Even if a man's head is chopped off all of a sudden, he has still got a few moments between that injury and death. Those few moments can become moments of awareness if he has put in a certain amount of awareness into his life. On the other hand, even if someone gave some people 100 years of lifespan, it is possible that in these 100 years they do not become aware. That is the reality of life. Someone who is suddenly shot has just a few moments, but it is still the same reality. If you have lived a life of awareness, then it is very much possible that even at the last moment you could become aware. If this has to come, you have to build a life of awareness. Only then you can be aware in your death. That is why it is important to develop this awareness during your life, so it does not matter how death comes to you. You will have the ability to die well. Some people are able to live well only if good situations come to them. Some people live well whichever kind of situation comes to them. This is so with death as well. If you develop the necessary capability, whichever way death comes, you can maintain your awareness and die well. If you have not lived a life of awareness, the possibility of you suddenly becoming aware in an extreme situation like death does not arise at all. Let us say the doctor tells someone, you have cancer, you have got just 1 month to live. How many of them become aware because they have 1 month's preparation time. They may just become paranoid. Only a few become aware and make use of this advanced intimation.